corporations that write the software that is pre-installed on these devices before you get them. Okay, now if anybody goes through the license agreement, which never used to be there when you started up and installed an operating system on a computer, usually it just asks you for the key, the licensed key, and you get to put in your name as the administrator or whatever you want to name your account, and you log into your Windows. You log into your operating system. But now they have a licensed agreement. See, look, right here. It says installation and use rights. License. The software is licensed, not sold under this agreement. We grant you the right to install and run one instance of the software on your device, the licensed device, for use by one person at a time, so long as you comply with the terms and restrictions contained in this agreement. Updating or upgrading from non-genuine software with software from Microsoft or authorized sources does not make your original version or the upgraded version genuine. And in that situation, you do not have a license to use the software. So, I just bought this computer, this laptop, and I'm starting up the Windows 10 operating system for the first time, and it's telling me I do not own the software on my computer that I just bought. And if I want to put some other software on this computer that's not from Microsoft, then it's non-genuine, and I don't have the license to use the software that I want to put on here. If I want to put on Linux or some other software on here, I don't have the license to do that. It says right here in the agreement. And I have to agree to this in order to even get into the operating system for the first time. There's no skip button. There's no, way around this. I mean, I don't know why people just hit accept and just agree to this shit, because this is absolutely 100% insanity. This should be illegal. If you buy something, whether it be a device or whatever, it should be illegal to put software on there that you are licensed, that you only get to be licensed to use and not own. I should own the software that I should be able to own the software that I put on this computer. I shouldn't be, it shouldn't force me to be licensed to be able to use it. This is how they are taking over all of our electronics with software. They're trying to take over your computer, your phone, your tablet, your laptop, whatever it is that has Windows 10 or higher. They do not grant you the right to use. They don't grant you the ownership of the software that's on it. You are only given the right to be licensed to use it.
And I went through more of the licensed agreement and scanned through more of what it says. And not only is there's 3 agreements in this one section of the Windows 10 startup license agreement. There's one for Windows, there's one for Acer, the manufacturer of the laptop, and there's one for Norton, antivirus software. And Norton not only says that all 3 parties say they can collect any and all data from you, and they can collect all information on what you visit on the internet, what you're using your tablet, what you're using your device for, what websites you visit, what hobbies and habits you have with you, what anything you do on the laptop or the device, they can log and monitor. And Norton says that it can automatically charge you every 60 days for renewal of their software. So when you agree to this, that means that every 60 days, Norton, if they have your payment information, is going to automatically charge you whatever the price is for their software every 60 days for renewal. And it says right in the agreement under the Norton section that it's going to do this automatically and does not need your permission. Everything that it says for all three parties says that they can do any collection of any data, and they're not, and also they're not liable, that you don't own the software on this device, and they're not liable for any damages that happens to the device whatsoever. And it states very clearly that a class action lawsuit against any of the three parties is not allowed. It says it's not allowed. So if I and like a group of other people have this same issue of not wanting to agree to this license agreement, and we all want to perform a class action lawsuit against Acer, Windows, or Norton, it states in the agreement that we are not allowed to do so. And it goes over what you can claim in claims court. You can only go to small claims court. I mean, there is so much legality in this agreement that says what these three parties are able to do, what you are not able to do, and it states very clearly that you do not own the software on this device, that you are only licensed to use it once you agree to this. And if you want to not use this operating system, see, there is no hard drive, removable hard drive inside the laptop. It's built into the main board, so you can't just remove it. And there's no way of accessing the BIOS through startup either. So the only possible way I can get around this problem is by getting a BIOS flash chip, flashing the BIOS on this main board to completely reset itself so that I can put another operating system on here and bypass Secure Boot that's embedded with a key by Microsoft inside the BIOS, and the BIOS is what starts the operating system. That's what allows the hard drive to begin startup of the operating system. The BIOS, the main board, the hardware that's inside the laptop is embedded with a key through a secure boot, and unless you have that key from Microsoft, you cannot use the BIOS as it stands right now. It has to be flashed and it has to be reset manually through the inside of the hardware. And if you don't do it correctly, the laptop could scramble a password for the BIOS and won't allow you to even enter the BIOS anymore at all. And the laptop will basically become completely useless unless I contact Acer and basically, debate with them and argue with them about giving me the password for my own property. So they can lock me out of my own property if I try to bypass this agreement. There's got to be more people out there that see this, that have noticed this problem of this complete and utter takeover of the software that runs all of our devices. If you are not aware that our devices are being taken over by the software that runs them, then you are living under a rock. You need to wake up and see what is going on in the true daylight. Your phone, your tablet, your laptop, any device that is controlled by Windows 10 or later versions, you do not have legal ownership of. You are only a licensed user. And if you and it is illegal to do anything to tamper with on the inside. Like, supposedly it's illegal if I want to try to flash the BIOS of this computer. Supposedly that's illegal, and I could be federally prosecuted for doing so, even though the laptop is mine. Even though I own the hardware. I own this physical laptop. If I tamper with the chips that are on the inside, I could be federally prosecuted. by law. This is how the corporations are being favored to not only support Windows 10 and 11, but they're supporting the fact that they claim ownership over the software over the person that buys the device altogether. This is complete and total insanity. This needs to be fought against and made illegal to do for people's property. And yet, it states very clearly in here that a class action lawsuit against this is not allowed. So only individual people can try to dispute this with Acer and Microsoft and Norton, but it states very clearly in here what you're able to do in small claims court too, by the way. It's all in this agreement, and if you don't read this agreement for an operating system before you go into it, then you're basically signing your anything and all data that's on this machine goes right to all three parties. Anything that you do on the machine goes to all three parties. Anything that you install on it goes to all three parties. Anything they do not want you to install, you must ask permission from all three parties. Microsoft, Norton, and Acer. If I'm the only one who thinks this is crazy, then I guess I need to go lock myself up in an insane asylum, because this is a complete utter takeover of our electronic computers and our electronic devices. And if you just go along with it, then you're just feeding more fire to the flame. It needs to be stopped and fought against, and I really hope I'm not the only one who sees this, because we need to develop an army of people against this kind of software takeover, and it needs to happen now. People need to wake up and see that their devices are being taken over by corporations like Microsoft, and they need to be stopped immediately, because this is 100% bullshit.